Hi,
Hello,
good Molly. How are you?
I'm good, Dylan. How are you?
All well. Thank you.
Yeah, great to hear. So thank you so much for, taking this initiative for sharing the information for your college. So I think we can start the session now, and at the end of the session, we can have question answer. So maybe they can unmute themselves or they can write in the chat box later on.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I have, yeah. So let's do one thing. During the session, you can write in the chat box.
Hmm.
And once we have the question answer session, so I will address the questions in the chat box. And plus, you can unmute yourself also and ask your questions then.
Sure, sure. Or maybe rather than addressing it in the chat box, you can speak orally, so everybody can be aware.
Yeah. Only the questions in the chat box, but I will address it
Done.
orally on the call. Yes.
Done, done. I think you can able to share your screen now.
Give me a second. Give me a
Yeah.
second. Yep. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you all are doing well. Please let me know once my screen is visible. Give me a
Sure.
second. I think it should be visible
Yes,
now.
yes, it's visible now. You can start the session.
Thank you so much, Mari. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
so
Yeah,
good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dylan. I represent IBAT and I'm the director for the South Asian region. So IBAT College is based in Dublin, and we have two massive campuses in the city center of Dublin. Okay, so one good point about IBAT is that we our campuses are right in the center of the city, so it becomes easy for the student to travel, to find accommodation, and to find part-time and full-time jobs also. Second thing is that we are also in a very strategic partnership with a public university. The university's name is ATU, that's Atlantic Technological University. They are one of the very prominent public universities in Ireland, and ATU has about 9 campuses across Ireland, but they don't have a campus in Dublin. So what they do is they promote their master's programs through us in Dublin. So a student studying a master's program at IBAT is actually doing a public university degree. The offer comes from this public university, and the degree certificate also comes from the public university. So this is another what do you say, USP, which holds a lot of weightage because not only for jobs, but also it impacts the visa success also. Okay. Now, I'm sure everybody knows about Ireland, why it's picking up so fast, why it's become like the third best destination for study abroad and all that. But let me run through some of the USPs of Ireland. Okay. Firstly, Ireland is an English-speaking country based in Europe, and it's the only English-speaking country in Europe. Ireland is ranked third in terms of happiness across the world, and it's the third safest country also across the world. So when we say ranked third in terms of happiness, obviously itself speaks volumes, right? See, when are people happy? When they have good jobs, when they have good income, when they have good family like work-life balance and all that. So this itself speaks volumes of why Ireland is doing so well. The cost of education is not very high, and the cost of living also is not very high. If you compare it to other top English destinations, over here is just a fraction of that cost. Ireland is actually known as the innovation hub of Europe. It's actually like the Silicon Valley of Europe. There are tremendous job opportunities over here. It's you can say it's not like geographically it's not the center of Europe, but actually the center of Europe to do business. Okay. When a student studies a bachelor program, they are eligible for 12 months of stay back. That's called a post-study work visa. And when they do a master's program, they are eligible for 2 years of stay back. A bachelor's program, irrespective, even if it's an honors degree, it's only a 3-year degree. Honors degrees are not 4-year degrees over here, it's 3 years only. And a master's degree is only a 1-year degree. So when a student does a master's degree, they study for 1 year, but they get a 2-year stay back. Okay. Secondly, if you see where I just spoke about job opportunities, right? So there are multiple factors why Ireland is doing so well. One is there are tremendous jobs because English speaking. Second is a lot of companies are based out of Ireland or have their massive presence in Ireland because of the low taxation structure over here. So for corporates, the taxation is hardly around 10 to 12%, which has attracted a lot of top corporates to come over here and settle down. And in fact, even for individuals, up till 42,000 euros, the tax is only 20%. So it's very, what do you say, tax friendly for employers also. If you see brands like Apple, Google, LinkedIn, Johnson and Johnson, TikTok, all massive brands are there out of Ireland, all massive. A lot of people think that okay, Ireland is more for medical, pharmaceutical, or IT, right? But trust me, the highest selling program, the like students who are coming to Ireland, the most selling program of year right now is business management. After that, pharmaceutical comes and IT comes third or fourth in the line. Okay. But again, speaking about jobs, the success rate, or you can say the employability ratio is about 98.7%, which is massive. Okay. At IBAT also, we are a 20-year-old establishment. So we have a lot of success stories wherein our students also are studying at some of the top, what do you say, brands over here. And we do help our students, our current students also to get a job. So we have a very successful career center team also. Okay. So some facts about IBAT. IBAT, like I just mentioned, is a 20-year-old college. We are there from the last 2 decades, helping students successfully grow in their careers. We have two campuses, both in Dublin and both in the city center of Dublin. So one campus is about 5 stories high, and the second campus is 3 stories high. At the campuses over here, we accommodate about 7,000 students. So this is one good thing because the intake doesn't close. So if you have a student who doesn't require a visa, for example, you can also apply for them a week in advance. You'll get your offer letter, student can still join us. But if you take the visa consideration and the timelines, then obviously we should apply at least 2 to 3 months in advance. Okay. These are the programs that we currently have available for the January and February intake. So in the, January we have master's programs, and in February we have the bachelor programs being offered. Our bachelor programs are registered by QQI, which is the governing body, educational governing body of Ireland, and the master's programs, again, like I mentioned, are offered by ATU. So these are the public university programs. The certificate program is something which helps the student bridge the gap. It's like a pathway, or you can say it's like a foundation program. So in case if a student is not eligible to do, say, a master's directly, or if they don't have funds or whatever, they can always do this program and then proceed to a bachelor's or a master's. So that's also okay. So the certificate program also is offered by ATU. So there are 3 programs by ATU, and the bachelors are by QQI. So these are the programs that are open for the Jan-Feb intake. For the September intake, which is the next intake, we will have some more IT programs also that are going to be available. Okay. So I'm sure you all know about the levels, right? If you notice, there's an NFQ level over here, level 6, level 7, level 8, level 9, level 10 is then the PhD, and it goes on. Okay. So why I have mentioned these is because all educational qualifications across the globe in Ireland are rated across according to levels. Like you can say a 3-year bachelor's in India is a level 7 program. An honors degree in India is a level 8 program. A master's in India is a level 9 program. So all qualifications across the globe are rated according to the Irish level system. Okay. Let me just give me 1 second. Let me just explain this in detail because for the ones who are not recruiting yet for Ireland, this is very, very, very important. You could just give me a second. I'll just share my screen again. Okay, I'll tell you what the how the levels work, and this will help you profile students for programs over here at IBAT. Okay. So, like I said, there's level 6, there's level 7, there's level 8, there's level 9, right? So, level 6 is equivalent to say a 12th standard or an HSC over here. Okay. Level 7 is a 3-year bachelor's degree. Level 8 is a 4-year bachelor's degree. Level 9 is masters. Okay. So these are levels as per the Irish education system, and these are how our degrees are rated according to the levels in Ireland. Okay. The reason why I'm explaining this is because if we don't know these levels, we will not be able to profile students properly. Okay. Like in India, a 12th standard student can do a 3-year bachelor's, or they can do a 4-year bachelor's also. Right. It's the same over here also. So if a student has done 12th standard, they can either go for a level 7 program or they can go for a level 8 program. Level 7, level 8, both are bachelor programs. There's hardly any difference in it besides the entry requirement. Okay, any questions? Please feel free to drop it in the chat box and then I can address it verbally towards the end of the session. Okay. So for HSC, there's no problem because these students can go for any of the programs. Now the problem comes over here for the level 7 students. So students who have done a level 7 degree, that is a 3-year bachelor's in India, they face problems going for a master's in Ireland directly. Because see, level 7 and this is level 9, right? So they cannot just jump one level and go over here. So for these students, normally they have to do a foundation or a pathway program and then do a master's. Okay. So commonly we have, you can say BCom, then we have BBA, we have BA, We have BSc. So these are some of the most common 3-year bachelor programs, right? So for these programs, a student can come do the certificate in access program, okay, or access program as we call it. Okay, once they do this, this is a 1-year program. They will do this and then they will do a 1-year master's. So in most countries, a 3-year bachelor student anyhow has to do a 2-year master's program, right? The same case of here also. But first they will do this access program again offered by ATU. They will get this degree. When they're completing this, they take admission to the master's and then they do a 1-year master's. After completing a master's, then they get 2 years of PhD. Okay. If you have a student who's got a 4-year bachelor's degree, then there's no problem at all because they're already a level 8 student and they can come and do a master's directly. If a student has done a 3-year bachelor's and then done a master's, it's okay because now the highest qualification is level 9. So they can also come and do a master's again. So that's no problem. Okay. So this is how you need to, the main confusion is over here for these students. Because see, to make the students understand also the little tough. If you tell them that no, you have to do this and then this, they are like, "Arey, I already did a bachelor's, why you want me to do this now?" But you have to make them understand that okay, there is a level system over here, level 7, 8, 9. So their qualification is level 7. To bridge this gap, they need to do the pathway program or a foundation program of 1 year and then do a master's program. Okay. Again, when I said that students who have done HSC like a 12, they can do level 7 or level 8 both, right? Any one of this. Now, why is it important or what are the distinguishing characters over here is the main thing is that in Ireland, PHW is only given for programs of level 8 and above. So if your student is doing a level 7 program, it doesn't make sense because after studying 3 years of a year, he will again have to get lateral entry and do a level 8 program and then proceed to the same. Or after this, he'll have to do a master's and then get PhD. Okay. So 12th standard students, you should always submit applications for level 8. Bachelor students, you should always submit 3-year bachelor students, you should submit applications for the access program. And 4-year bachelor students, no problem, you can directly submit for a master's program. Okay, I hope this was not confusing.
No, it is not. But can you please explain about the duration? What will be the duration of certificate or access program? And what will be the
Okay,
charges?
sounds good. Yes, I will do that. So the certificate program is a 1-year program. The level 7 bachelor's is a 1-year program. Level 8 sorry, this is a 3-year program. The level 8 bachelor's is an honors degree, but again, this also is a 3-year program. Okay. And level 9 is a master's degree, which is a 1-year program. So this is 1 year, this is 1 year, and this is 3 years. Okay. Any student who's done BCom, BA or BA, BSc, whatever, they go for this 1-year program first, and then they go for 1-year master's. Sounds good?
All right. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yep. Any more questions? Because this is a little important. We need to understand this very, very, it's easy, but a little confusing, I guess. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? I'm happy to answer them now. Nope. Okay.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yes, yes, please tell me.
So normally, after understanding your question, suggest I need to know only one thing. If student complete level 6, they can apply for level 7 or level 8 in anything.
So if they are level 6, that means 12, they can apply for level 7 or level 8. The
Level
only
8.
difference of the or the only criteria is that if a student has got 50 to 60%, then they will have to go for level 7 because the entry for level 8 is 60% and above.
Okay,
So
that is
that's the only
intermediate.
in intermediate or 12th or HSC. Yes, you're right.
Okay, depends upon percentage. We have to inform them level 7 or level 8.
Yes, yes. But
Okay.
even if a student gets 50 to 60% or any student, right, who's got 50% is like the bare minimum cutoff. Any student who's got 50% and above, you should always submit an application only for level 8. If the student has got below 60, don't worry, we will not reject it. The admission team will give him a level 7 offer. So don't worry about that. But why I'm saying submit for level 8 is because sometimes, say, say for us over here, as per the QQI requirement, maths is mandatory, right?
Okay.
So the
Okay.
student might have got 55%, but in maths he's got 85%. So the admission team might consider that and give him a level 8 offer also. You never know. So it's
Okay.
always good to submit level 8 of application. Tell the student that see you're below 60, so 99% you will get a level 7 offer. And then
Okay.
after level 7, you have to do 1 year of level 8. So you'll have to
Okay.
study 4 years in short. I will explain all this together, don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, but the point of here is that there's an entry requirement. If the student is below 60, then he has to go for level 7. He
Okay.
probably will get an offer for level 7. Above 60, eligible for level 8.
And
That's
if the student is below 50?
then they're not eligible because we need the minimum benchmark is at least 50% for bachelor's or for master's or for access program, anything. The minimum benchmark is 50% at least.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
So I
Sir,
think
is
yes.
there any special requirement for masters also? Any percentage requirement if they want to go for level 7? Any required percentage in level 7 and level 8?
So if a student wants to go for masters, he has to be a bachelor student. He should have completed his bachelor's. So in his bachelor's, we need a minimum 50% marks.
Benefit. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the entry requirement over here. For level 7, it is 50 to 60. Level 8 is 60. But sometimes, even if they are a little bit lower than 60, but have good marks in maths and all that, then they might get entry to level 8. And
Okay.
for masters, they need to have at least 50% in their bachelor's. Again, for this also, certificate program also, it's 50% minimum. I will tell you all the details of this. I just
Okay.
wanted to explain this so that we know how to profile students and which applications to submit so that we get offers at least.
Okay. So this is only valid for all universities, sir? Is it particular to IBAT only?
So this is the QQI, what do you say? So QQI is a governing body for education in Ireland, and this
Okay.
is their rules. So it has to be
Okay.
implemented across all and or any university in Ireland.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Another way of finding out whether your student is a level 7 or level 8, this thing is you can also give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. There is a website also, okay? Is my browser visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there is a website. I will put this in the chat box. You all can also go to this website. So this is
Okay.
the QQI website, Quality and Qualifications Ireland. It's also called NARIC.
Okay.
Whichever country your student has studied from, in case if your student say he is an Indian, but he studied say in Bangladesh, so you'll select the qualification Bangladesh this thing over here, okay? If whichever country he studied from, the highest qualification, that you will select. So say if it's an Indian student studied from India, select India, select higher education, go on search, and you will see what level of qualification the degree is. Like a bachelor's degree of 3 years is level 7, an honors degree is level 8, master's degree level 9, so on and so forth. Okay. So in fact, even a B8 degree, if you see over here, is a level 8 degree, I think. Yes. B8, 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 B8. Yeah, B8 is a level 8 degree. So for India, it's very easy and simple to remember. Only the 3-year bachelor is level 7. Remaining everything is level 8 and above.
Okay.
Okay. Suppose if you have a student from Bangladesh, then it's a little different. In Bangladesh, even a 4-year bachelor is level 7. So it depends. So if you're a little confused, you go on this website and you can cross check that because it's important. Because if you submit an application for a master's degree for this student who's done a 3-year bachelor's, it will not come. You will not get an offer at all, and then you'll wonder what has happened. Why is it taking so long, right? But the admission team will just put a comment saying that the student is not eligible, and they will close the application. So
Okay.
that's why it's important that we know how to profile the students. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Any more questions, you can please unmute or drop it in the chat box also. I'm more than happy. Okay, so I'll say, okay, so no more questions. Let us go further. So these are the programs available for our January and February intake. So we still have time for submitting visa files also because visa decisions take about 3 to 4 weeks. So we still have time to submit for both. Okay. Offer letters are given quite fast. For bachelor's, it takes about 2 days for us to give you the offer letter. For masters, it takes about 10 days because the masters and the certificate program is offered by ATU, right? And this is the public university. So it's a two-step process. So first, our admission team verifies and checks the documents. Once it's done, we send it to ATU, and then ATU sends us the offer letters back again. So that's the reason for master and certificate, it will take us at least about 10 days to give you the offer. But for bachelors, 2 to 3 days is a sufficient enough time for you to see the offers coming out. Okay. Now to dive a little more deeper into these requirements, starting with the certificate program, which is like an access program. Okay. Firstly, we need maths because it's a QQI registered program, so maths is mandatory. The academic requirement is only 50%, and we check 12th. Okay. Even if the student has done a BCom or sorry a bachelor's, they can still come and do the certificate program. A student after 12th also can come and do the certificate program. I'll tell you which students should come and do the certificate program also. Okay. So firstly, four intakes, Feb, April, June, and September, which is very, very nice. Academic requirement is very low. It's only 50%. Classes for any of our programs is only 3 days a week. So students can easily study and work part-time also. It will not affect. Okay. English requirement, we do accept IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, even PTE. So everything is accepted. So IELTS is only 5.0 overall with nothing less than 4.5. Duolingo is about 100. PT is, sorry, Duolingo is 80 and PT is 50. That's it. It's very, very bare minimum.
Sir,
The fee,
I have one query regarding this point, but coming to visa point of view, they're asking IELTS minimum band of 6.0, no, sir. So is it valid in case student got 5.0?
okay. So from the visa point of view, the IELTS requirement is actually 5.0 with nothing less than 4.0. It's mentioned on the embassy's website also.
Okay,
So don't worry if you have 5.0 with 4.5, it is sufficient as per the visa requirement.
okay,
On the embassy website, it is mentioned that the minimum requirement is 5.0 with nothing less than 4.0.
okay,
Uh,
okay.
when you say 6 and 6.5, that is actually college requirement, but embassy requirement is just 5.0 with 4.5.
Noted, sir.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you. I will share some links on the chat once I'm done. I'll just go to the website and share the links again. Okay. Our fees over here is bare minimum. It's actually the lowest for any access program across Ireland. The fee is only 6,500 euros. Then if you include the insurances, it becomes 6,859. So what we do is we also give the student a general insurance, which is called PEL, that's called Protection for Enrolled Learners. And 130 euros extra is for the health insurance. So for your visa file, you don't need to take any other insurance. You can take the 130 euro insurance from us only. That's sufficient. So 6,500 is the fee for the 1 year program, and including the insurances, it comes up to 6,859, which is bare minimum. And I don't think any other access program is so economically, what do you say, charged. Secondly, it's registered by QQI, and the certificate is given by ATU, so it holds more value also. And like I said, PSW is only for level 8 programs and above. So any student doing this program doesn't have a stay back. After this, they have to do a bachelor's or a master's. Okay, it's mandatory. Or they come back to the parent country, which they will not want, right? So bachelor's or master's is very important for them to do. Okay. Now, what type of students should do this program? There are three category of students. One is students who've got less academic scores. Two is students who've got less IELTS. But again, see, maths is important. Okay, maths is mandatory in grade 12. Okay, and the third category of students is students who have less funds. Why I'm saying funds is, say a student has got say 80% marks, he is more than eligible to do a bachelor's program, but say he is not eligible to get a loan, or he has issues with funds or whatever. Now for a bachelor program, it's a 3 year duration program, and as per the embassy requirement, the student has to show funds for 3 years, living expenses plus fees, right? Living expenses is 10,000 euros per year. So first 10,000 he has to show in his bank for the first year. The remaining two, he has to show that he has access to it at least. He doesn't have to show hard cash or whatever it is, but he has to show it on paper that he has access to it. Now, if a student cannot do that, then obviously he's not eligible to go for a 3 year bachelor program. But the same student can come and do a 1 year access program. He has to show funds for only 1 year, pay the fee of 6,500 euros, and show 10,000 euros in the account. Once he completes this, then he can go for the bachelor program. And once they are in Ireland, to extend the visa, they don't need to show funds. They just need to show their new offer letters and LOA. That's it. So that's the reason why I said students with low funds can also come and do this program. Again, if a student who has done, say, you need to justify, right? See, the SOP is very important. So you need to justify why the student is doing this. So you cannot say that I don't have funds, but you need to say that, okay, I want to make my basics more stronger, what XYZ and all those things. Okay. So SOP is very important. So ensure that we're doing that. We are, what do you say, writing it very, very well. Okay. So access program, 4 intakes a year. Academic requirement is just 50% in 12th because we will check 12th over here. Okay. Classes 3 days a week. For English proficiency, we accept IELTS, PT, Duolingo, everything. Cambridge, everything is accepted. The fees is actually 6,500 euros, but including the insurances, it comes out to 6,859. No PSW, very, very important. Please tell your students. Once they are in the, what do you say, in the fourth quarter of this program, my academic team itself will ask them what they want to do, whether they want to do a bachelor's next or they want to do a master's next, and we will help them get admission to the other program. So don't worry about that. Okay, so that's about the certificate and access program. Like the name mentions, it gives the student access to higher education. For example, a 3-year bachelor student, say is on a BSc IT, for example, they cannot come directly for a master's, right? It's a 3-year bachelor's. So this program is like a pathway or a foundation which gives them access to higher education. After doing this 1-year program, they can do the master's then. Okay. Now coming to the bachelor programs, two programs, both are in business right now that we have open for the February intake. One is an L7 which doesn't have PSW, and one is an L8 which has PSW. The major difference over here is that if a student has got less than 60%, 99% he will get an what do you say? The chances are that he will get an offer for a level 7 program. If he's more than 60%, then obviously yes, he will get an offer for the level 8 program. Again, this is also a QQI registered program, and as per QQI, maths is mandatory in grade 12. Okay. So for any country, maths is mandatory as per QQI in grade 12 to do a bachelor's. What I meant is students coming from any country. The exception is there only for one country. Okay, that's Nepal. So if a student has studied from Nepal, he's done 12th in Nepal, and if he doesn't have maths, then two numerical subjects also will do, like accounts and eco, accounts and stats, physics and eco, something that way. But that's only for students who have studied 12th or intermediary from Nepal. For students who have studied anywhere else in the world, maths is mandatory for admissions over here at IBAT because these programs are QQI registered and this is a QQI requirement. Okay. For level 7, we just have one intake in September. But for level 8, we have two intakes, February and September. And yes, the February intake is still open. Classes again, just 3 days a week. So it's very, very, it's actually student friendly because I know a lot of students asked also that, how many days are classes? Will I be able to manage both work and classes? So I think it's very comfortable over here. English requirement again, IELTS is just 6 overall, PT 51, and Duolingo overall 105. Okay. For bachelors, we don't see the internal modules. So if it's 6 with 5.0 also, we don't mind. Okay, we just want overall 6. Similar to PT also, we don't see the internal modules. Okay, and Duolingo also same thing. Okay, IELTS 6, PT 51, and Duolingo 105. I normally request please submit applications only for level 8. And now, as per the education system, mostly students are getting 60% and above only. So the fee for this program, the yearly fee is actually 7,115 euros. That includes the insurances. So our fee is actually 6,895. Including the insurance, it comes up to 7,115. 6,895 again is one of the least fees for a bachelor program across any college, any university in Ireland. There's no one who's offering a fee that's lower than 6,895 for a QQI registered program. Okay. But again, another good thing of here is that if you notice, I have not discussed about discounts or scholarships or bursaries or right. Because what we're doing is for the first year, we don't give the student any scholarship or discount. But from the second and third year, he gets a 37% discount. So 6,895 already is one of the lowest across Ireland. On top of that, in the second year, we're going to give him a 37% discount, and his fee is only 4,399 plus 130 euros for the insurance. That's it. Third year again that much. So the entire 3-year fee is only going to be around 15,800, less than 15,800 euros, in fact, which is very, very, very economical. Trust me, 6,895 itself is like the lowest. And on top of that, we are again in the so what we're doing is the first year we're offering the student the international fee. Second year and third year, we're actually giving the European fee. The fee that we're offering Irish students or European students, we're actually going to give it to our students over here. So this is way, way, way very, very economical. Okay, and okay. Again, like I said, L8 has PSW, L7 doesn't. When a student study the bachelor's program, that's a level 8, they're eligible for a 1-year post-study work visa. So their stay back is 1 year. And in Ireland, there are plenty of jobs. We've seen that the average turnaround time for a student to get a job is around 3 months, you can say. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? You can unmute or you can put in the chat box. I'm more than happy. Okay, going to the masters. So any student who's got a 4-year degree a 4-year bachelor's degree, they are directly eligible for a master's. If it's a 3-year degree, we'll have to evaluate the profile. So mostly they will go for the certificate program and then come for a master's. Okay. So for masters, currently we have two programs that are open for the January intake. One is a business management program, and the second is a marketing program. And like I said, business management is one of the highest selling programs across Ireland because the job opportunities are tremendous. Okay, student from any background can come and do the business management background, this is management program, because see, our requirement is a 4-year degree, right? So normally 4-year degrees are non-business programs. Okay, like any 4-year degree if you see in India or is a non-business degree. So if you have a student who's done a 4-year degree, they are most eligible to come and do a business management program with us over here. Two intakes, one in January, one in September. We require a minimum percentage, you can say a 2.2 GPA or approximately 50 to 55% is the eligibility. Classes 3 days a week itself. Okay. And IELTS 6 with 5.5, PTE 55, Duolingo overall 105 with nothing less than 100. The fee structure is 12,500 for the 1-year program, and including the insurances, it comes up to 13,067 euros. That's it. 1-year program and 2 years PSW. Okay. There's no limit on age. There's no threshold for gaps. There's no threshold for backlogs and all that. That's for admission purposes. But see, visa is very important, right? If the student is more than 30 years old, please justify. If he has any gaps, please cover the gaps. If he has any backlogs, please justify. Very, very, very important. Okay. Even backlogs, please justify. Give some reasons, give some medical reasons, give some family issues, do something, but justify. Don't leave it blank, please. Okay, and that's very, very important because of late we have seen some cases wherein I have seen one rejection for another, this thing like a partner had shared, saying that the student has got backlogs, so due to which he could not complete his program on time. I doubt that, like the visa officer is saying this, I doubt that he will come to Ireland and be able to complete a program over here with us. So anything, please give justifications. Everything is accepted. Like even if you have a previous rejection from another country, it's accepted. But give justification so that they know that you've taken corrective measures towards it. Okay. So this is with the programs and the academic requirements. Uh, all programs are still open for the January and February intake. From the September intake onwards, we're going to include more IT programs also and some healthcare management programs also. I'll keep your posture on that. English requirements, I've made it simple. I've just accumulated everything in one screen. So when it comes to, see, we accept IELTS, PTA, Duolingo, TOEFL, Oxford, Cambridge, everything, the academic versions. Okay. Level 6 is the certificate program, 7 and 8 are the bachelors, 9 is a master's. So it becomes easy to remember and understand also. So for the access program, it's 5 with not less than 4.5. For bachelors, it's overall 6. We don't see the internal modules. For masters, it's 6 with nothing less than 5.5. Duolingo, my favorite. Okay. For level 6, it's 80. For level 7 and 8, it's just 105. We don't check the internal modules. And for level 9, that's masters, it's 105 with a minimum of 100 in each module. Okay. Now for your to submit an application, the documents required also are bare minimum. Okay, we just need proof of identity. That's your passport copy, the student's passport copy. We need transcripts and degrees. If the student doesn't have the final degree, even a provisional degree will do. It's okay. But we need the complete transcript along with the degree. And we need the English proficiency certificate. Along with this, if you have if you also submit a CV or a resume, it would really help us. Okay, that's it. We only require this much. We don't need SOPs. We don't need LOR, nothing. And see, these documents are documents that students actually roam around on their phone also. So you will not, the application can be submitted at the earliest. You don't have to create like an SOP for us. You don't have to wait for the student to get LORs and all that. Okay, it's just the bare minimum documents. Again, for the bachelor program, it takes about 2 to 3 days for us to give you the offer. For masters, it will take 10 to 12 days because it's an ATU degree. The offer comes from a public university and that will be shared with the student then. Okay. The additional support services that we have for our students, we have a career center team, very, very efficient. We have accommodation team, which helps the student find accommodation. And we also have, what you can say, how do I put this? An immigration desk on our campus. So when a student comes to Ireland, just visit the campus first. We will help them with all the required things that he needs to do, like how to get registered at GRADA, how to get registered for his jobs, how to go and register for a doctor's this thing. So everything we have a support team for everything over here. Uh, okay. When it comes to accommodations, it's tricky, right? It's not a challenge you can say, but it's tricky everywhere, not only in Ireland. Finding accommodations takes time, right? So please start this process as soon as the student remits the fee and is on the verge of applying for his visa. Start looking out for accommodations. Reach out to our team also. They will also take like accumulate the feedback from the not feedback but requirements of the student, and accordingly they will also give him options. Okay, but do search for options on your own, like ask the student to do that, and plus reach out to our team also. Do both. In case if the student finds an accommodation online and if he wants to verify it, send the details to our team. We will send someone physically to check it and let you know whether it's genuine or no. Because see, there are a lot of online frauds also happening, right? Okay, so that's with accommodation and that's with the immigration support that we have. But the best team that I actually like is the career center team, because this team goes to ends to help a student search a job, be it full time or part time. This is a very, very supportive team. And because see, from a student's perspective, completing the degree is very, very important. But if he doesn't get a job, obviously it affects, right? And from a university's perspective, if he doesn't get a job fast, our reputation also is on the line, right? It's not about the degree. So this team is very active and we want students to get a job fast. We have tied up with a lot of career portals. We do give students paid access to job search engines across a lot of different career portals. We are tied up with more than 400 organizations over here in Ireland. And we do invite top management personalities to come, counsel students, speak to them, give them perspective of what's there in what do you say, what's coming up in the future and how should they define which jobs they want. A lot of different things happen over here. Coachings, workshops, job fairs, a lot of different things. Okay. And because it's our motto, like the degree is okay, but getting a job is very important for the student, right? So, and the average time we've seen right now is three months. So some students get it earlier, some students might get it in the fourth month also, but 3 to 4 months is like the highest. 4 months, I think, is the highest amount of time that I've seen for a student to get a job, which is very, very decent and very nice. Okay. Any questions, please keep putting in the chat box. I will address it after another 3, 4 slides. Accommodations I've touched base. Okay. So traveling around Ireland also, especially in Dublin, is not a challenge. It's a very, very developed city. It's not like very big or huge, but it's very developed. Buses, trains, trams, everything is very readily available. Okay. As soon as a student comes to Dublin, the first thing you should do is apply for this. That's a leap card. I would not say it's a travel card. It can be used for travel also, but I normally call this as a discount card. It's a prepaid card. Students normally pay around 14 euros to purchase this, and then they keep refilling it. Okay, but they get discounts almost everywhere. Libraries, transportations, like public transportation, uh, then groceries, shopping. In fact, even on restaurants, pubs, everywhere. So, and they get massive discounts, like 40%, 60%, all that. So this is very important. Okay. Secondly, if they want to take a travel pass, a monthly travel pass cost approximately around 100 euros. Okay. But the more economical mode of transportation is cycling. Cycling across Europe is very, very common. In India, if you say cycling, then it's only for health issues where you'll see people cycling in the morning, but you'll never see someone coming on a cycle to work or something. Very rarely, right? But over here across Europe, cycling is very, very common. Okay. And a cycle pass for the entire year costs only 35 euros. So it's that, what do you say, economical. Dublin is not very, very big. Even if the student is staying on the outskirts to save on, say, living expenses, he can easily reach the campus on cycle within 20 minutes. So, because we are also based right in the city center. Okay. Working, okay, a very, very important slide. All students will ask you this question. I'm sure about that. In the first 3 questions, this will be one of the questions. So while studying over here, yes, they can work irrespective any program. Even if they're doing the access program or they're doing the bachelor program or studying the master's program, so all students can work. When their classes are on, they can work for about 20 hours a week. Okay. And when their vacations are there, that's their study semester break. That time they can work for 40 hours a week. Okay. So in Ireland, they have a 4 monthly semester pattern. So 4 months of semester one, then 4 months of break, and 4 months of semester two. So during the semesters, they can work for 20 hours. and during the break, semester break, they can work for 40 hours, which is really good. There is massive ROI. I'll tell you how. So in Ireland, currently across Ireland, okay, not Dublin, this is across Ireland, the minimum wages on paper is 12.7 euros per hour. From January onwards, this is going to increase to 13.5 euros. That's 13.50 euros. It's already announced. 13.50 euros is going to be the highest minimum wages across entire Europe. Okay, that's point one. Secondly, we are based in Dublin, right? And that to the city center, which is just about, we are like one of the most tourist places in Dublin is called the Temple Bar. And our campus is located 400 meters away from Temple Bar. So it's one of the busiest areas with a lot of job opportunities. And being in Dublin, I know on paper it's going to be say around 13.5 euros. But trust me, now also students are getting a minimum of 15 to 16 euros per hour. So that's very nice. Even if you calculate only 20 hours a week, students are making at least about 1500 euros per month. This is bare minimum. Okay, bare minimum with the minimum wage I'm talking about. Uh, the expenses is about 1000 euros per month. So even while studying, students can easily sustain this thing over there. Okay, from what they're going to earn, plus save also. And even if they're saving 500 euros per month is massive. In a year, they can save 6000 euros, which is approximately 5.5 to 5.5 lakh rupees, which is really, really good. And that too, we are only calculating the 20 hours with minimum wages. We have not gone to 40 hours also till now. Because see, over here, this is an English speaking country, right? So students do get good jobs. And students can go and check it on LinkedIn or on Indeed.com. They will see part-time jobs also. The wages are like 15 euros per hour, 16 euros per hour, 18 euros per hour. It's really, really nice. So there's a lot of ROI. Like I just mentioned, the expenses also is approximately 1000 euros per month, and that too, this is like a little bit on the higher side, and this includes almost everything. Okay, and if a student is earning about say 1500 to 2000 euros per month, there's a lot of ROI. Okay, another important slide, PRs, right? So PR is very important for a student. This again is going to be one of the main questions they ask you. So, see, it's a step-by-step process, right? So, when a student approaches us, the first we submit an application. Once they get the offer, then they apply for the visa. Once they get the visa, they come and study. Once they complete the program, then they get a PSW, a post-study work visa. During this tenure, they have to find a full-time job. Once they find a full-time job, that's when they convert the PSW to a work visa. Now, a work visa can be renewed n number of times, or after a certain period of time, they can apply for a PR, right? So, when I say after a certain amount of time, it depends on what type of job the student has got. Okay, so there are two types of jobs the student can get. One is they can get it under the critical skills permit, or they can get it under general employment. Now, critical skills permit, as the name suggests, these are skills that the country is looking for. Like under critical skills permit, you can say management jobs, anyone who wants to start up their own company, IT, pharmaceutical, tourism, finance, engineering and all that. Almost everything comes under critical skills right now. And under general employment, it's mostly of labor-oriented job or which jobs don't require skills. Like if you're an office assistant or if you're working at a supermarket as a normal this thing, as a cashier or something that way. So those are under general employment. But see, the good thing over here is that both these categories can apply for a PR. Only difference is there are two differences. First difference, if you get a job under critical skills, you can apply for a PR after 2 years, to be precise, after 21 months. If the student is working under the general employment category, then you can apply for a PR after 5 years. Okay, that's the first point. The second difference is that a student who gets a job in the critical skills permit can call his dependents immediately. A student who gets a job in the general employment will have to wait for another 1 year and then can call his dependents. Okay, because the general employment, what they normally think is that the wages of a year will be less than this of a year. So the student also should be financially stable, right, to take care of his dependents. So that's why there's a waiting period of 1 year of a year. These are the only two differences. One is the waiting time to apply for a PR, and the other is the waiting time to call your dependents. That's it. Remaining almost everything is the same. And Ireland is a very PR friendly country. The requirements are bare minimum. Students don't need to know it also because if you ask me, financially, the student needs to have a job, obviously a full-time job. with a minimum wage of about say 30,000 euros. That's it. Uh, and they should not have any criminal records. They should be paying the taxes on time. That's it. That's the main requirement. And over here in Dublin, the average wages start from around 42,000 euros. So obviously, he's going to meet the only criteria, that is at 30,000 euros, without even knowing it. Okay, so I think I'm done with this. Okay, so we can open up for questions now. Anyone who wants to ask any questions, please feel free to unmute. Till then, let me just check the chat box also. Okay, so I have a first question by Shweta. That's PTE score. Okay, so I've already explained that. PT for the access program and for bachelor's is a minimum of 51, and for masters it is 55. If a student has 50% in bachelor's, is he eligible to apply for master's? Yes, he is eligible. Only thing you have to keep in mind that he has done a 4-year bachelor's to get direct entry into master's. If the student has done a 3-year bachelor's, then they will have to do the certificate program first and then come for the master's. How much funds is required to be shown is the living cost is about 10,000 euros per year. So if a student is going for a 1-year program, they pay the fees for the 1-year program and show 10,000 euros in their account. Okay, if the student is going for a 3-year program, then it is 10,000 euros per year, right? So the first year 10,000 he needs to show in his account. The succeeding 2 years, 10,000, that's 20,000 euros, plus the fee of about say another 10,000 euros. They need to show that they have access to it. It might be on paper, it might be a sponsor also. You know, that's also okay. But only the first year needs to be shown in the account. The other two can be a pre-approved loan. It can be money in say PF or somewhere that way. It can be money in your sponsor's account. It can be your CA report wherein you have collaterals like land or something that way. So anything will do. The most important thing is your first year funds. That has to be readily available with them. Okay. Okay. Any scholarships? Currently, we don't have because, like I also emphasized, that the fees are actually bare minimum. For the access program and bachelor's, we are actually the lowest across Ireland. Trust me. And even after being the lowest for the second and third year, we are giving the student like a 37% discount on the bachelor fees, which is very economical. Please arrange to share the webinar recording. Yes, surely we will do that. I will request the team to do that 100%. Okay. Any questions? Please feel to unmute and ask me. Don't worry. Until no one unmutes, I'll be reading all the questions over here. So Nivya, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a few questions in terms
Definitely.
of the visa aspect. First is, I wanted to know what you will suggest for accommodation. Like, what should we do? Do we have to book for 1 month, 2 months? What you suggest?
So I normally recommend, see, there are multiple options. Like there are hotels, there's Airbnb. Because I normally recommend don't book a confirmed thing when the student is over here in India.
Okay.
Book a temporary accommodation for 1 2 months. There is something called as an Irish homestay also, wherein it's like a family rents out one room to this thing to a student. That's how it is, and that is most beneficial because a lot of amenities also gets covered in that. Like the student will not have to pay separate for water, electricity, for Wi-Fi and all that. And plus, he will also get to stay with an Irish family and like witness that firsthand. So I normally recommend search for Irish homestays. They are more economical, and it's a temporary this thing wherein you can give them a notice and move out. So why I'm saying temporary, book temporary is because uh, from here the student will not be able to analyze what is good in terms of communication. Sorry, not communication, commutation and all that, like traveling and all that, right?
Right.
So book a temporary thing for 1 month or 2 months, and then once the student is there, let him go around and search for a more concrete accommodation. If he likes the one where he's staying, he can obviously make that a permanent one. But it's always safe to do this. Don't pay like a big amount and book like for a year and then repent over it.
All right. And how about the living expense? Like I saw in one slide, you have mentioned 1,035 euro for a
Mhm.
living expense. Like how much funds we can show at the time of living expense? We have to show 1 year only, or you suggest to show for the full duration?
So see, normally the embassy wants to see 10,000 euros per year. I
Right.
recommend 12,000 euros per year. Because it's always better, right, to show a little more.
Right.
So don't show a lot more also. If you
Hmm.
show instead of 10, if you show like 20,000 euros,
Hmm.
then again that also is not too good.
Hmm.
It's again a negative. But instead of 10, if you can show 11 or 12,000 euros, it is a little positive sign. And 10,000 euros, what I'm saying is per year. If it's a 1 year program, you show up 1 year fees in your account. If it's a 3 year program, you show the first year of living expenses in your account, and the remaining two you can show as a pre-approved loan. You can show it anyway on paper, however it is. But first year,
Understood.
you have to show it in your account.
Right. And how about like you said that the fees are very, low and it's bare minimum. So how about the enrollment later? Let's say the student get, enrolled and admitted. Then after you'll have to pay, like, is there any initial deposit they'll have to pay, or they'll have to pay 1 year of tuition fee immediately?
Okay, thanks, Navya. Thanks, Nivya, for getting this up. I actually missed this part out. So, as per the Irish requirement, the minimum fee that a student has to pay is 6,000 euros to come for the visa appointment. So, we have kept our requirement in same lines. So, if you see the access program and bachelor's is approximately 6.5 to 7,000 euros. So, for the access and bachelor program, the student has to pay the full 1 year fee, and then we give them the LOA. But for the master's program, the fee is 12,500 euros. So even if they pay 6,000 euros, we can give them the LOA. If they want the medical insurance, they need to pay another 130 euros extra for that. So 6,000 plus 130. So 6,130 euros they pay. We can give them the LOA and the medical insurance, and they can proceed for their visa appointment. But the remaining fee has to be paid before the intake starts. So we don't have like a payment plan or something till now.
Okay. All right. And how, like you mentioned in the meeting that, there will be some backlogs that should be justifiable. What you will suggest, like how many backlogs that students should consider that, they have a great visa ratio in terms of the negative results?
So frankly speaking, till off late now, we should not see these rejections.
Okay.
But now Ireland is actually like growing like crazy. It's come to that number three destination. Like where I can't explain to you also this. Like where the embassy was expecting 99,000 applications, they've got 20,000 plus applications.
Right.
So now it's obviously the survival of the fittest, right? So they will only see students who have got good profiles. So I would not, I don't have a number to say that okay, so and so backlogs are okay. But
Mhm.
even if there are multiple backlogs, give a good reason, give a genuine reason of
Yeah.
why it was there. And hopefully after when the student has completed the backlog, I hope he has a good score to prove that.
Yeah, exactly. Because if we are considering 12 plus 4 degree here in India, like they are usually having engineering students, so they do have a
Yes,
backlogs, right? But
yes.
in other hand, they are also having a pretty good CGPA, so they can consider those students, right?
Yeah, they can. There's no problem. The only recommendation that I have is explain it well on the SOP. Sometimes you don't explain it on the SOP, and then
Hmm.
we give the visa officer a chance to give a rejection. But if we explain it, then he will not give a rejection. So that was my point of view.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Travel. Yeah, that's it from me.
Thanks, Divya.
Yeah.
You've helped us actually address a lot of different queries. Thank you.
Thank you so much. May help me too.
Okay, so I have another question. Anyone who has queries, please unmute. Until then, I'll just read out the questions in the chat box. Okay, so we have another question. 49.5 percentage in UG, will it be considered? It's a little tough ask. I seriously, frankly speaking, the academic team will not consider. I know that it's only 0.5%, but admission team and academic team, they only go by the books, right? So they will not consider this. Exact 50.0, yes, we will consider. Okay, next is Irish visa separate from is Irish visa separate visa for Ireland? Can you? Okay, so I think yeah, okay. So I have a question that says, is Irish visa a separate visa for Ireland? Yes, it is a separate. So Ireland is a European country. It comes under the European region. It is a EU country, but it doesn't come under the Schengen region. Okay, so a student who's got a Schengen visa cannot travel to Ireland. A student who's got an Irish visa has to apply for a visa to travel to other Schengen countries. Okay, once you get an Irish visa, it's very easy to apply for a Schengen visa. Everything is online. But the positive point over here is that the student is very safe over here because see, normally what happens is we all witness this, right? I know I should not say it aloud, but everybody has seen this. There are a lot of students who take admissions in one country, they abscond, disappear, and they start working in another country. This cannot happen in Ireland because of here they will specifically require an Irish student visa. So, but this happens in Schengen regions, right? So I was promoting another brand which was a Schengen thing for a long time, and I had a lot of students doing that. They should apply for a next country and suddenly turn up in Portugal or Spain or somewhere that way. So it's a loss for the partners, it's a loss for the university, and it's a loss for students also who have genuinely gone there to study. Because now this student who's working illegally over there is going to work on cash. He's going to bring down the entire minimum wages over there, right? So a student who should have got 13 euros is now he's going to fight for 8 euros also. but this cannot happen in Ireland. Okay, but to answer your question, yes, a separate visa is required for Ireland. It's called an Irish student visa. A Schengen visa doesn't apply here directly, but it's a positive for our students, and obviously for us also, because students just cannot go and abscond over there. They have to come and study. How many months to maintain funds in the account? Okay, this is another good question. Okay, so there are a lot of myths surrounding the funds that are required for a visa. Okay, one is 10,000 euros per year is what I told you. Okay, secondly, everybody thinks, not everybody, but a lot of people think that, uh, just give me a second. Yeah, a lot of people think that the minimum requirement is that a student has to have funds in the account for at least 6 months. It is not mandatory. Okay, what it says is that if you have funds, okay, if you have funds that are more than 6 months old, then you don't need to show the source of that fund. That's it. If you have funds that are 1 day old or 2 days old or 3 months old or 4 months old, then you have to show the source of the fund. That's the only difference. Okay, so it's not mandatory to have old funds. If you have new funds, even 1 day old funds are more than welcome. I have a lot of visa approvals even with 2 3 days old funds, so don't worry about it. The only thing is that you need to show the source of where that fund is from. Let's say if a parent is transferring money from their current account to a saving account, obviously the source is the business, right? So he puts documents, relevant documents. If they have sold a property a month ago and that money has come in, put the sales date over there. If so, these are small things that you have to do. If you have taken money from a sponsor, put the sponsorship document and the sponsor details over there. So any funds is acceptable. Any loans are acceptable. Loan against gold, loan against like personal loans, loan against PS, any loans are acceptable. The only thing is that if your funds are 6 months old, then you don't need to show the source of it. You don't need to have any explanations. If you explain this very well, it's very good, but it's not mandatory for funds who are 6 months old. But all funds are accepted. Even 1 day old funds are accepted. So don't worry about it. Okay, next question. Next question. Early bird discount, our fees are actually bare minimum. Trust me, I have done a comparison for access program and for the bachelors. It's bare minimum. There's no one who even comes close. And plus for bachelors, second and third year, we're already giving another 37% discount on that also. So for now, I know that discounts are something where students look forward to. But if you tell them that even without the discount, our fees are way lower than the other this thing, I'm sure they will buy into it. Okay, another question. If a student applies for a certificate program followed by master's program, what will be the duration of the total program and how much funds is required? Okay. Okay, so okay, so there are four questions in one this thing. I'll just this thing. Okay. So for student applies to the certificate program, it will be a 1 year program. Okay. So he'll study 1 year of certificate program. Once he's in the final semester of the certificate program, my academic team will help him apply for a master's degree over there, and then he will get admission to the master's program. So as soon as he completes the certificate, he will continue with his master's program. Second question. So it's a total will be 2 years, 1 year of certificate, 1 year of master's. Okay. So that will be the total duration of the program. How much funds will be required? Okay. So the initial offer letter based on which the student is going to file the visa, the offer is going to be for the certificate program. On the offer letter, it's going to show it's a 1 year program. So the student has to show funds for only 1 year. Once he's in Ireland and when the certificate program is getting completed, that's when he takes the offer letter of his master's program and only renews his visa. That's it. He doesn't need to show funds over there once he's already in Ireland. Okay. So that's question number two. How much funds? That's also addressed. Any minimum income requirement of our sponsors? So see, for sponsors, there's no minimum income requirement. It's just that the sponsor, if there is a sponsor, they need to show the funds that the student is looking out for. So if the student wants, say, 20 lakhs, yes, is falling short of 20 lakhs, then the sponsors should show 20 lakhs with them. That's it. There's no minimum income requirement as such. Yeah, another thing that is related to this is that a sponsor cannot have 20 lakhs in his account and tell that, okay, I'm sponsoring the student for 20 lakhs. That's not viable, right? It's not logical and no one will buy into it. If a sponsor has 30 lakhs in his account and out of that he's saying, okay, this 20 lakhs are going to be for the student, like the student's requirement, that is justified. A sponsor cannot say that, okay, I'm giving all my money to the student. That's not justified. Okay. The next part of the question is who can be a sponsor? Anybody can be a sponsor. The visa document, the visa requirement doesn't specify any criteria for sponsors. In fact, they have explicitly mentioned that anybody can be a sponsor. But we normally recommend that keep close relatives as sponsors. Okay, not mandatory blood relatives, but close relatives, like say your brother, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, grandparents, uncle, aunties. All those are okay. But if you say a friend or friend's father or something that way, then it becomes a little difficult to justify also, right? Ki why that person wants to sponsor you. If it's family, it becomes a little easier. Okay, but anybody can be a sponsor, and the student can have any amount of sponsors also. But again, don't exceed more than two sponsors. I think two sponsors should be more than enough.
Sir, in this point of view, I have an query, sir.
Yes.
Normally, if student ready to make the payment 1 year tuition fee, then student have to pay only 1 year living expenses only in student account as per for the visa purpose. Then we can inform to the student to deposit 12,000 euros in his account.
Yes, you're right. Yes. So the requirement is the student has to uh, show tuition fees and living expenses of the entire duration of the course. Say if the student is going for a master's program, 10,000 euros is the living expenses, 12,500 is his uh, fee. So if he's
Okay.
paying the full fee, he shows only 10,000 euros in his account. If
Okay.
he's paying only 6,000 euros of the fee and 6.5 is pending, then you have to show 10 plus 6.5, 16,500 euros in his account. Because the
Okay.
criteria is that he has to show the entire the funds for the entire duration of the program, right? That's how it is.
So can I consider that only for living expenses we have to show only 10,000 euros, not
Sorry,
12,000?
not 12,000, 10,000 is the requirement.
Okay. Only 1 year living expenses only student have to show.
Uh, program are you asking for?
Okay.
No, for which program is it you're asking?
If student is planning for master's program, sir,
Then
is
1 year.
then
Yes,
1 year living expenses,
yes,
that's
you're
fine.
right. Yes.
In case of bachelor's, we have to show 1 year living expenses and balance of tuition fee. I mean, in the form of pre-approval.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
Thanks, sir.
Yes.
Hello, Jailan, can I ask you something?
Yes, yes. Hi, please
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. It's about the timeline when you can take the spouse with you. Like you have mentioned, critical skills permit. 2 years you can apply for a PR. And what stage, student can take his spouse after getting the PR or when he has work visa at hand after the PSW or during the PSW?
Okay. So, a student can take his spouse or dependents
Yeah.
only once they get a full-time job. So, once they get a work permit, not the PSW or work permit.
All
So,
right.
yeah. So, if it's a 1 year program, say 1 year they will study, then they'll get their PSW. During the PSW time, say in another 2 months, he gets a full-time job. That's the day he can call his spouse or his dependents, he can apply for their visa.
All right. Okay. As soon as he has a full-time job in his hands, he can invite the dependents. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Most welcome. Okay, if a student has got rejection, then how much it takes to register the next time? How much it takes? Okay, so there's a question that if a student has got a rejection, then how much it takes to reapply for the next time? So if a student has got a rejection, yes, you can reappeal. There's no cost to it. The When you're reappealing, it's an offline process. So you have to send a courier to the embassy. Okay, you can't send an email. They don't entertain emails. Send a courier. Uh, it's very unfortunate if a student gets a rejection because the success rate is quite high. It all depends on the clarity of the finances that you give, and your SOP has to be strong. Two very important factors. Okay. But when you're reappealing, you have to send a courier with all the documents. Okay. And the wait time is approximately 30 to 40 days. The normal turnaround time is about 3 to 4 weeks, but for reappeals, it's about 30 to 40 days. And reappeal, again, the success rate is quite high. Okay, our next question, if a student has got 55% in 12th, he will do level 7 3 year program. Okay. Okay, so I have a question which is very nice, very tricky question. So if a student has got 55% in 12th in HSC, that means obviously he's going to do a level 7 program, okay, which is a 3 year program. And after level 7, obviously he doesn't get PSW, right? So he'll have to do another program or take admission in masters. So after doing level 7, yes, he cannot go directly for level 9. He cannot just skip one level. But if you see at IBAT, both our programs, our bachelor program, the level 7 and level 8 are of business management, right? Let me just go a couple of slides back. Yeah. So if you see, both are in business management. So students who get access to level 7 program or who get this offer, what we will do is they will study 3 years of a year. And since both are business, right, we can give them lateral entry directly to the third year of this elite program. So they will study 3 years of this program, 1 year of this program, and then they get a PhW. Okay, these students will get two different degrees. They will get a normal bachelor degree and they will get an honors degree also. And after completing the final year of a year, then they will get a 1 year PhW. So they don't need to jump for a master or do the certificate program in between. Okay.
Sir, coming to funds, sir, I have a query, sir.
Yep.
Sir, coming to visa funds, student can show 100% of amount in the form of education loan.
Yes, there's no challenge at all. Only thing is that the parents, by default, irrespective of whatever type of funds you're getting, by default, parents have to submit their ITR and
Okay.
their 6 month bank statement. So that is mandatory. But if you have 100% education loan, that's not a problem at all. I know there are some people who say that no, it has to be 80-20 or 60-40,
Yeah.
but trust me, there's nothing as such.
Okay. Fine. Thanks.
Yep. Okay, so I have a very interesting question. The question reads, give us some major points to promote this thing, right? So one is, uh, see, job opportunities are plenty of here. So let's start from a student's perspective. Student wants jobs, job opportunity are plenty. Students want to work part-time and get good income. Over here, that also is very high because from January onwards, they're going to have the highest minimum wages. But since we are in Dublin, anyhow, I have seen students, or the student also go and check on LinkedIn or Indeed, that you'll see minimum it's about 15 euros onwards. So students are making about 2,000 euros per month, and our students want ROI, right? They want to work hard, they want to save more, they want to repay their loan or support their family and all that. So main things from a student perspective is they want jobs, they want PR. These are two things, and obviously they want the program to be easy also. When I say easy is they want to be able to manage all these things together. So classes also are here or 3 days a week only. Okay. Uh, so these are three things from a student perspective. Then again, we are based right in the city center, so it becomes very easy for a student to travel. It becomes easy for a student to find full-time jobs and part-time jobs also. The fees are not too high. It's very, very economical. For certificate program and bachelor's, in fact, it's the lowest across any college. Then the master's programs are offered by a public university, that's ATU. So a student will get a degree also from the public university. Another thing about Ireland is that it's an English speaking country with a very, very high success rate for PRs and job opportunities. So these are some things that you can always talk about to students because the students they come with a certain set of questions, right? If you ask me the top 5 questions, one will be can I work? What is the cost of education? Will I get any discounts? Then the third one will be how easy it is to get PR. Fourth one will be will I get a visa or no? And fifth one will surely be how easy the program is. And when I say easy, it doesn't mean how tough the exams are. Normally, students want less duration of studies. Okay, so these are some points that you can promote, and I can give you some more points also later. Okay, another question: if a student who has a bachelor's degree applies for the certificate program, what will be the possibility of the visa? Okay, this is a very nice question because normally a student should not get a visa under normal circumstances. Why? Because see, the bachelor program minimum will be L7, level 7 if he's done a 3 year program, but the certificate program is a level 6 program, right? The visa officer will always think, why does he want to study one level lower than what he's already got? No one will do that. But in your SOP, you have to say that, okay, I have done a 3 year bachelor's program, which according to the Irish this thing rating of QQI is a level 7 program, due to which I cannot come directly for a master's program because master's is level 9. But the university has an option wherein I can do a pathway, which is the level 6 program, the certificate in academics, my master's program. So you'll have to mention that over there, and then there's no issues at all. If you don't mention, obviously at first glance, they will not understand, right? But lower fee, no stay back. Why is he doing it? Right? And he already has a degree that's higher than this. So do explain these things in your in the SOP. Okay, there's another question. Can you please share the visa checklist? Okay, I'll do that, yes. So I will share the visa checklist and I will share the QQI link both on the chat box. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute only. I will do that. Okay, so QQI. So this is the QQI link. And when it comes to visa checklist, sorry. So I've shared both on the chat box. I'm sure you have access to it. So you can save this. It's very important, especially the visa checklist. Go through it. I'm sure a lot of your queries will get answered over here. Any more questions? I think we're done with the chat box. Any more questions, team?
Sir, can you please share the same PPT?
I will do that. So you reach out to the team at Join in Campus, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
We will share
Okay.
from our end.
Okay.
Reach out to Himali or Deepa or anyone, and they'll be more than happy to help you out.
Sure, we'll be sharing to the agents who have attended the webinar today.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Okay. Any more? Any more? Any more?
Yes.
My team member is having a question.
One more question. Are there any documents to be apostilled? Like you said, it's an English-speaking country, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in terms of the visa, do we need to apostille any document?
No, you don't need to apostille any document. There is no requirement of that true copy thing, nothing as such. So don't worry about that.
And
Only
how
thing
about the PCC?
Yeah, I was just going to say that PCC is
Okay.
required. And even if the PCC is done online through the this is not visa, the passport website, that's also okay.
Oh, 3 months already.
So PCC, the passport Kendra website, that PCC also will do. Okay. Again, just one final question we've got over here is what is the duration for masters if a student goes through the pathway program? So the pathway or the certificate program is a 1 year program, and then a master's is a 1 year program. So student will study for total 2 years. 1 year pathway, 1 year master's. He'll get two different certificates. He'll get one. The first certificate he'll get is the certificate in access program, this thing degree, and then he'll get a master's degree certificate.
Sir, can we show the funds in the form of fixed deposits?
Yes, you can show for the second and third year. There's no problem. For the
Okay.
first year, you will have to get it into your account because see that is so. If you see the website also the embassy website, they have broken down the funds into two categories. One is immediate access to funds, and one is ready access to funds. Immediate access is your first year funds. That it means immediately it is already there with me. I can come to Ireland and spend it right now. That's called immediate access. And ready access is yes, I have it with me and I have access to it. Whenever I require, I will take it from there. So that's how it is. So first year you have to show it in your account. Even if you're taking a loan, get at least the first year funds disbursed to your account. The remaining 2 years can be pre-approved. That's okay.
So maximum how many members can sponsor? Maximum is 2, sir.
I recommend maximum two. As
Okay.
per the embassy, there is no threshold or limitation, but I
Okay.
actually recommend maximum two should be there.
Okay, sir. Noted.
Yep. Okay. Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more? I think we've covered a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of basics.
like you have answered most of all the questions. And if now the agents or my counselors are having any questions, we will surely reach to you. Okay. And we will be waiting for the PPT. And thank you once again for your time today. Have a lovely day.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure speaking to your team, and
Thanks a
looking forward
lot.
to working closely. Yes, yes. Thank you so much, team.
Yeah, have a good day. Bye.
For you to have a good day ahead. Bye bye.
Bye.